Today I am talking about an herb rack and how to make one with possibly spare parts that you have laying around the house, so it could cost you nothing if you do have these parts. I had a 2x4, I had screen, I had a number of things laying around the house. I put this together for free. I also have two other herb racks, which I'm going to show you and introduce, which you can purchase online, already set up, and they can do more than this, but there's an advantage to this one, and I'm going to go over all that today. But first, I'm Todd with Great Escape Farms. We do videos on homesteading and permaculture, on plant propagation, and a number of different things, fermentation, herbs, medicinal herbs, things like that. So please consider subscribing and tune in and check out everything we have to offer here. Today I am making a herb drying rack, and I would like to do like a 3x3 or some straight up even number, but I can't because what I'm using are just scraps that I had laying around. So the screen right here, my max dimensions I get out of that is about 3 foot by 2.5 foot. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this spare 2x4 I had laying around, which individually by itself wouldn't be long enough, but I'm gonna go ahead and rip it down the center, and that will give me enough wood to go ahead and make a rectangle, and I'll go ahead and attach the screen, and then I can start drying her. So the first thing I did is I went ahead and I measured across the 2x4 here. Most are not actually 4 inches, they are 3.5 inches as shown here. So what I did is 3.5 divided by 2 gives me 1.75. So I measured off at, let me get out of the sun here, 1.75, and I did hash marks in several different spots along the way, and then I used a straight edge, that being a T-square there, and I drew a line straight in the center here. So this line is in the center all the way across, and what I'm going to do now is use a circular saw to go ahead and cut right along that line and make this 2x4 into two 2x2s about, if you will. So that will allow me to have enough wood to do what I want. Use all of your safety measures, please, with your circular saw and any other tools that you are here. Read owner's manuals and everything else. I can't be responsible for any misguided or misuse of your tools. So use them as they are designed to be used, and be cautious, please. Okay, so I went ahead and I ripped right along that line there. One other thing I forgot to mention is goggles. Make sure you wear goggles with this thing because it shoots sawdust all over the place, and save your eye. So now we need to take our 2x2s, which is a straight piece of lumber here, and turn it into our different size lumber here that we're actually going to use. So I said 3 foot by 2.5. So what I need is 3 foot from the long point to the long point, and then 2.5 or 32 inches from the long point to the long point here. So the way we're going to do that, I am using a fancy little electrical miter saw here. You can use a miter box, hand tools, whatever you want. You can hand do it with a circular saw, a hand saw, whatever you have available to you. The way that I have found to do this easiest, starting out without looking at this, is, let me lay this aside, I am going to just chop off an end here at a 45-degree angle and then measure on the long end. So let me go ahead and do that, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Okay, so I just chopped off right on the end here. So this piece is for discard, and you'll notice I have a point right here on this end. I actually want to swap that around. And I am okay, so my tape measure set, and we'll do the long one first. So 36 inches, even though it's upside down right here. I'm going to do a hash mark right at the 36-inch mark. So that is 36 inches here from the long end. So I'm calling this the short end and this the long end. And I'm gonna leave the saw in the same position. Oops, I need to move my block over to keep things level. Okay, and what I want to do is line that hash directly up with the blade, and it is not right now. The hash is back behind, so let me slide it back this way. A little bit more back this way. And that should be just about perfect. So I will go ahead and make the cut. And just to double check, what would they say? Measure twice, cut once. So my long end is here. That follows all the way along to my long end. So that's what I want, is long end to long end at 36 inches. So let me go ahead and get this cut, and then we'll see how to do the next one. Okay, we made our cut. That will be 36 to 36. So we will set it aside. Actually, it should go right on top of that one. And our next one is going to be 32 inches, but we already have a 45-degree angle here. So if we just flip it over like this, we should be able to measure out our 2.5 feet here. Hopefully I can get this thing to stay on. There we go. And come back to 32 inches. Now I'm doing 36 and 32. If you have a different size screen or measurement you were trying to do, then by all means do that. So this hash, let me double check. Yep, that's good enough. So there's 32 inches. So again, this will be long end going out to the long end. So I cut just like this, and same thing as before. I'm going to line everything up, pull it out just a hair, and that should give it to us. So let me go ahead and make this cut. Okay, cuts have all been made. I just laid it out here on the floor. The table wasn't big enough for me to lay it out on the table, so I'm gonna have to get down on my knees and do this on the floor. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna put it together so it's nice and tight, just like that. And I'll square it up. And what I'm gonna do is drill a hole in through the first piece of wood and a little bit into the second piece, and then I'm gonna drive a screw in. And the reason I don't just drive the screw in, even though it could easily go through, is I might end up splitting the wood if I do that, and I don't want to split the wood. So I'm just gonna go ahead and drill a single hole ahead of time, and this should give us a nice strong connection right here. And I'll probably come in through the other side, and if I really wanted it strong, you know what, I'm probably gonna do it anyhow. I'm gonna look and see if I have wood glue, and I'm gonna go ahead and glue it here as well. If you like everything you've seen so far, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel and liking this video. Also check out some of the other videos that we have online. We really appreciate the help. Thank you very much. So I went ahead and I drilled the hole through both pieces. You can see the hole there, and I added the screw in. Actually, first I put the glue on, so the glue is right there, and the wood glue is right here. I did pre-drill it with that hole, which is a little bit smaller than the screw here, just up by a little bit, so the threads will grab and pull it through. And if you notice, I started the screw here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna line that up with the hole here, and I'll screw it in, and that will pull it tight and spread the glue out on both pieces. And one thing I forgot about, if I screw this in tight, it pulls this other piece up. So what I need is a second hole coming right across here. So I'll just drill that, and with the second one, I shouldn't get any pull on it. Actually, I'm probably gonna come in from the other side and go this way with it. Okay, so I have one screw in here, one screw in there. They are fully in. This is lined up perfectly the way I want. So I am gonna go ahead and do that on the other three corners here, and then we'll put the screen on. So it is done and put together here. As far as the wood piece, I'm gonna go ahead and staple on the screen here now. Okay, we are all stapled in here. You can see the staples, and what I'm gonna do now, this is just nylon screen. I'm going to take a pair of scissors and cut about halfway through here. I want to leave an inch or so away from the staples, and I don't want to be right up to the edge. If you have a different type of screen, you may not be able to use scissors. I know they have metal screens and different types of screens out there. For me, scissors will work just fine. After I stapled in, I went ahead and I hit it with the hammer, and the hammer helped push it down, keep it nice and tight. If you notice, the staples are very close to the edge here, and that's so I don't get a bunch of herbs shoved up underneath in the screen here. Doesn't look the greatest from this side, but this is the side that's facing up. This is where the herbs are, and it doesn't look too bad here. Let me go ahead and set this up, put some herbs on it, and show you what it looks like. These are fennel heads that I'm drying out, and the seeds in the other racks would fall right through. So that's why primarily why I like this and use it for certain things. Another case was elderflower. I did elderflower a couple days ago, and the elderflower would fall through the other racks. And what racks am I talking about? Racks like this that I got from Amazon, and hopefully you can see the mesh is a good bit thicker right here. And fennel seeds and elderflower and a number of things will go right through. It's great for leaves. I don't have to worry about those going through, but not the greatest thing for smaller things. One other option is a tray for a dehydrator. I'm using this. I think this is catnip I have over here. It does let the seeds fall through, but that's actually good. I'm collecting the seeds over there and I will plant them next year. I actually have two of these hanging racks right here. One with the zippers on top, which I don't like because when I'm pulling it out, things get hung up and it breaks the leaves and knocks flower heads and seeds off and stuff. I have another one that is completely open. Let me show you that. This is my favorite herb drying rack right here, and it's open. It's easy to get things in and out of. There's actually one extra shelf here, so there's 7 shelves, and the other one, this particular one, has 8 shelves. And just so you know, what I do is I mark down on a little sheet of paper what it is, and then when I put it in a can or a bottle or something, I just lay this on top until I get it permanently labeled, and that helps me keep things straight. But this is an awesome, awesome system right here. This is my favorite one, and the link to this one and the other one will be in the show notes or the description below, so you can check it out. So with that, in this video, we taught you how to make a herb rack. We showed you 3 additional ones. One is just a tray to a dehydrator, and then 2 others that we purchased from Amazon. All have individual uses here, purposes specifically for certain things like getting seeds out and preventing seeds from going through, and bulk herbs. But all in all, we use all of these on a regular basis and use what you want. But this right here was something that we will use over and over again. And again, for us, it was free because we had the tools, the parts, and everything else. All we had to do was take the time to make it. Thank you very much for tuning in. Please consider subscribing. I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care.